Wait a second, you're right now in the middle of one of the rarest moments in football history. Same generation, same era, same World Cup stage. And there are two players where if you had to pick one, you'd genuinely struggle. Kylian Mbappé and Erling Haaland. This isn't just the question of who is better, it's actually the question of what football is right now. Today we're putting this on the table with numbers, iconic moments, and without ignoring anything. First, let's admit this. Comparing these two players is like comparing apples and oranges. But the football story of these two players gives us a reason to make this comparison, because both of them are playing on the same field, for the same cup, at the same time. If you asked for one word to define Mbappé, it would be a free-flowing style of play. He knows no boundaries on the pitch. Left wing, right wing, centre forward, wherever he is, he creates danger. 435 goals and 156 assists in 578 matches. Read those numbers again, 156 assists. That's not the statistic of a goal scorer. It's the statistic of a football genius. Mbappé was born not just to score, but to play football. He scores extraordinary goals. The word that defines Haaland is inevitability. When he enters the penalty box, it's as if the laws of physics change. 194 centimetres tall, explosive speed, shooting with both feet, incredible heading ability. All of these seem to have come together in a single body. 359 goals in 435 matches, one every 91 minutes. That ratio is a level of sustainability that no player in football history has achieved. Haaland exists to score goals, and he does it with almost mechanical perfection. This is exactly why this debate runs so deep. Choosing one is really choosing what you want from football. Now let's look at the summer that changed this debate forever. The 2026 World Cup. And what happened there deserves its own chapter in football history books. Mbappé arrived at the tournament at the peak of his maturity. At 27 years old, with experience from 3 World Cups as Real Madrid's most powerful player. And he met expectations and then some. 10 goals and 4 assists in 8 matches. Top scorer of the tournament. With his career total across 3 World Cups reaching 19 goals, he became France's all-time top scorer. France beat England in the third-place match and returned with a medal. For Mbappé, this tournament was once again a confirmation of his greatness. But now we move to Haaland. And I want you to pause here, because what I'm about to tell you might never happen again in football history. Haaland was participating in the 2026 World Cup for the first time, his first World Cup. And what did he do? 2 goals in the first match, 2 more goals in the second match. In the group stage final against France, meaning against Mbappé, he scored 2 more goals. Is that a coincidence or something else? In the round of 16 against Brazil, 2 goals once again, 7 goals in 4 matches. In the quarter-final, England beat Norway 2-1 and Haaland's tournament ended, but with 7 goals. Now think about this. How many goals did Messi have in his first World Cup? 1 goal. Ronaldo's? 1 goal. Mbappé's? 4 goals. The total of these 3, 6 goals. Haaland alone scored more goals in his first World Cup than the combined first tournament totals of these 3. That's not a statistic. That paved the way for a reshaping of football. And that France match, June 26th, 2026, Boston Stadium. The world was waiting for this. Mbappé versus Haaland on the same field, everything on the line. Haaland scored 2 goals, Mbappé also scored. Norway still lost. But that night, everyone understood this rivalry would define the next 10 years of football. Now let's dig a little deeper, because goal counts don't tell the whole story, but XG analysis tells us a lot. Historically, Haaland's XG performance runs above his XG value. That means statistically, he scores more than expected. What does this mean? His positioning and finishing, the number of people in the world who can do this can be counted on one hand. Haaland knows where to run before he receives the pass. He knows where the keeper will dive before he takes the shot. This isn't a skill earned through training, it's an instinct he was born with. Mbappé, meanwhile, consistently exceeds his XA, expected assists value. The quality of the chances he creates goes far beyond his assist numbers. According to SofaScore's 2026 World Cup comparison, Mbappé is producing 1.64 expected assists per match in the tournament, one of the highest figures in the tournament. Haaland, on the other hand, produced almost zero in this category. Because Haaland's job isn't to create, it's to finish. And look at the 2025-26 club numbers. Mbappé, 42 goals at Real Madrid. Haaland, 38 goals at Manchester City. Two big clubs, two enormous pressures, two players chasing each other. This rivalry isn't limited to the national team. It continues every season, every match. A player's true greatness shows itself on the big stage. And here the two players' profiles are quite different. Mbappé is a player who grows on the big stage. He scored in the 2018 World Cup final at age 19. He scored a hat-trick in the 2022 World Cup final. They lost to Argentina, but Mbappé was the man of that night. In 2026, the top scorer title is in his hands. This is a player who plays better the brighter the spotlight gets. But there's a criticism levelled at Haaland. On the very biggest stages, he sometimes fades into the dark. In the 2023 Champions League final against Inter, he couldn't score. Manchester City won anyway. In the 2026 World Cup quarter-final against England, he couldn't find the net, and Norway was eliminated. Compared to Mbappé, this is a significant difference. The capacity to deliver a big strike on a big night is what separates the very best players from the rest. On the other hand, Haaland's defenders will say he didn't score in that final, but he still helped his team win, because his mere presence draws defenders and opens up space for his teammates. This invisible contribution doesn't show up in the stats, but it's clearly visible in tactical analysis. In Mbappe's trophy cabinet, there's the 2018 World Cup and multiple French league titles from his PSG days. But it's been 2 seasons since his move to Real Madrid, and he still hasn't lifted the Champions League. This is the Bernabeu's biggest expectation. Ronaldo, Zidane, Ancelotti. This stadium's history has been written with Champions League trophies. Mbappé must carry on this legacy, and he hasn't managed to yet. Haaland, on the other hand, lifted the Champions League trophy with Manchester City in 2023, in a season where he scored a historic 52 goals. That's one of the most dominant individual seasons in modern football. But in 2025-26, City lost the Premier League title to Arsenal and was eliminated early from the Champions League. So how responsible is Haaland for this decline? His individual numbers were at their peak, 38 goals. But collective success didn't follow. And the biggest question for a goal scorer is this: while you're scoring, why is your team losing? So who's better? I'll give you the honest answer, and it might not be the popular one. If I had to play a match today and had to pick one of these two players, here's how I'd make that choice. I'd choose based on how the opposing defense is set up. If the opposing team is compact, in a block, playing positional defense, Haaland. Because that kind of defense always leaves a gap, and Haaland finds that gap and scores. He doesn't need a broad understanding of the game to do this, just instinct in that moment. If the opposing team presses high, creating gaps between the lines, Mbappé. Because there's almost no player in the world as dangerous as Mbappé in those gaps. His capacity to manage both individual play and team play goes far beyond Haaland's. But let me add this. This comparison is being made with Haaland at 25 and Mbappé at 27. Haaland's true peak hasn't arrived yet. If he stays healthy over the next 3 years and achieves great things with a great club, this debate will head to a completely different place. Let me close by saying this. The Mbappé-Haaland debate reminds us what football really is. On one side, the pinnacle of art. On the other, the perfection of efficiency. One shows you beauty, the other shows you results. The 2026 World Cup took this debate to a new dimension. Haaland's 7 goals went down in history. So did Mbappé's top scorer title, and neither of them has reached the end of his career yet. The coming years will answer this question. But for now, the only thing we're sure of is this: having both of these players in the same generation at the same time is one of football history's greatest fortunes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.